Hey guys, welcome to The Strong Young Man. Conflict and confrontation are generally unpleasant affairs that churn up unpleasant emotions. Out of desire to avoid such situations, people will often be nice and conciliatory to the people around them, in the belief that this will elicit the same response in return. More often than not, this practice backfires. Over time, the people you treat nicely will take you for granted and they will see you as weak and exploitable. Being generous all the time does not elicit gratitude, but it creates either a spoilt child or someone who resents behaviour perceived as charity. Those who fail to recognise that niceness to others does not elicit niceness in return are going to leave themselves vulnerable to exploitation by the people who go after what they want. You must accept that you will have to confront family, friends, colleagues, and other people in your life, and so it is essential that you are prepared for it the moment that it needs to happen. When a conflict arises, animals in the animal kingdom deal with the stress of the conflict in the following 4 ways: fighting, flighting, freezing, or fawning. Fight is the aggressive technique. Flight is the avoidant technique, and freeze and fawn are the submissive techniques. As animals, humans also utilise these 4 methods for dealing with the stress of a conflict. Depending on our upbringing, we can sometimes rely too heavily on any one of these responses. For obvious reasons, in the civilised world, aggression is rarely the most appropriate technique for managing conflict. Submission or avoidance strategies are also problematic because they permit the other to continue to exploit the submitter. Whenever a person's rights are persistently trampled on, or a person's needs are consistently unmet, resentment and anger accumulate. People who behave in submissive ways often accumulate enormous amounts of anger that finally spills over into an explosion. This explosion is often over a trivial incident, and it unleashes the built-up anger as aggression onto the person most convenient at the time. Statistics have shown that long-term conflict avoidance correlates highly with relationship breakdowns, higher than relationships with a lot of conflict. You must not be submissive. This will only postpone the inevitable eruption. The longer that you are submissive, the bigger the eruption. Flight can be an acceptable technique to use in certain situations, especially if your life is in danger. Just don't overuse this technique to avoid accumulating resentment. Other than these 4 strategies, there is one other method that you can use to resolve conflict before the avoidant and submissive strategies progress to aggression. It involves using the conscious aspect of the neocortex rather than the instinctive reaction of the reptilian brain. The technique that we can use is called assertion. The ability to assert your needs relies on your skill to possess strength while ignoring the fear of people not liking you. Learn to assert your needs. Learn to be okay displeasing people. From this position of strength, you'll be able to handle conflict in an effective manner. You will ensure persistent stability by not swinging between periods of submission followed by short aggressive eruptions. Ironically, by being submissive in order to avoid a conflict, you deplete the respect of your peers and you allow them to walk all over you. This will cause more conflict in the long run. Learn to assert yourself in a positive way, and you will lead a more fulfilling life as well as earning more respect from your peers. You will send a message to others that says, "I have limits that you cannot cross." Demonstrate this consistently to ensure that people don't walk all over you. You must also learn to not take another person's assertions personally. Just counter them by asserting your own needs. This is the essence of good conflict resolution, which is the backbone of all healthy relationships. Robert Bolton has developed an assertion process to defend people infringing on your space. This includes an assertion message followed by silence to allow the person to respond, and then a negotiation to reach a solution. The assertion message always has the format: when you state the behaviour non-judgmentally, I feel, disclose feelings, because, insert a clear description of the tangible way in which it affects you. For example, when you don't cook me dinner, I feel unappreciated because I work so hard to provide you with a good lifestyle, and now I have to come home and cook my own dinner. Keys to delivering the message. The message should be accurate and descriptive, so the person knows how they are infringing you. The message should only focus on one behaviour at a time. The message should be short and trim to its bare essentials. The message should not include any aggressive words, swear words, or exaggerative descriptions. The message should be non-judgmental, so that it minimises the chance of the person becoming agitated. Plan the statement out in your head and run through it a few times before delivery. You must assume that every potential target could have a fragile ego, and you must be careful not to evoke their insecurities. After delivering your assertion message, the next phase of the process is to be completely silent. Do not break the silence first. Allow them time to respond. I've covered the power of silence in episode 13. If the person remains silent for more than 20 seconds, then this person is submitting to you. Proceed by saying, "I take it by your silence that you don't want to talk about it, and will meet my needs by insert non-judgmental description of desired behaviour." For example, "I take it by your silence that you don't want to talk about it, and will meet my needs by making dinner for me on the days that I'm working hard for you." Finally, once they respond, you can get a gauge of how they are feeling about the behaviour. Maybe they are completely unaware. Maybe they have their own assertion. Listening to this will allow you to compromise. It's better to allow the other person to respond. If they come up with a suitable suggestion, then go with it. The person is far more likely to comply with a behaviour that they have suggested. If they rebut a compromise, then decide whether it will meet your needs. If it doesn't, then repeat the assertion message until they understand what you want. This method is just a suggestion. There is an art to managing people that will ensure that you get your needs met. You may have to adapt to changes in the conversation and the behaviour of the individual, as well as how well you know the person. Assertion is a skill that you can improve over time. The first time you do it, you will often find that your fears have exaggerated the consequences of assertion. Assert yourself and you will rid yourself of the constant anxiety of confronting people. You will no longer be chained to this false niceness, which renders you a prisoner of your own conscience. Every time you practice assertion, it will become easier. If you are young, it's better to learn how to do this early in life to maximise its utility. Avoiding asserting yourself because it's easier will cost you more in the long run. In the process of developing a message to assert desired behaviour, you will often learn a great deal about yourself. Thanks for watching today's episode. In episode 50, I'll go through how to find a suitable woman. Subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when it drops. Catch you then.